Yeah, Jalil.
What's up, Malachi? How you?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, fam?
Not much, man. Hey, stand out the way. Stand out the way.
Hey, man, look like you don't gain a lot of weight, man. What?
Hey, like I told you, we didn't went through this before. Nigga can't live it. Nigga can't live that last weight. Hey, you out and about, you living everyday life. You gotta have that get up off me weight. You know, nigga run up on your ass and you 150 pounds. These don't fuck you up.
Hey, this nigga.
He gon' whoop your ass. So, hey,
hey, hey, Jalil, man. Hey, look here, man. I appreciate you coming on, brother.
nah,
Hey,
I appreciate you for having me.
man, look here, man. Listen, man. Listen, man. I'm mad at the motherfucker, right? Because I'm at the Fountain Blue. You don't had your fight already. I didn't know
Yes,
you
sir.
ended it early. I didn't know you ended it early. I come in the motherfucker, man. They don't want to let a nigga on the floor. They say, man, the fight over with. I saw Ron Goodall, the fight hype. He said, man, coach, the fight over with. I said, what you mean it's over with? For real? He said, yeah, man. He knocked him out in the second round. I said, God, bro, I was shocked. I ain't gonna lie. I was shocked now. You know what I mean? Because, I like what Elijah was like, what, 8-9-0, something like that?
Eight and
And
over, 8-0 with 7 knockouts.
7 knockouts. Now, and I did look at some of the comp he was fighting, but you like your competition stepped up like your past 3-4 fights. You know,
Yeah, I did the math on it. My past three opponents, their combined record was 49-2.
49-2. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it was
yeah.
49-2 with 21 knockouts. So shit, niggas been fighting.
Yeah, cause you fought Gutierrez. I remember that he was 12-1.
Yeah,
Then I
well,
know you
49-3. I'm sorry, 49-3. He was 12-1
okay.
or something like that, and Pete was 16-1,
Pete was 16.
and then the guy in
You had
Puerto Rico, I think,
Vasquez. Jose
yeah, I think
Vasquez.
he was like 14 or 15-1.
Yeah,
So it's like niggas been fighting, bro, and
yeah.
I ain't got no complaints about it. Some people saying like maybe they should slow them down. Maybe you should fight some easier guys.
Mm.
Fuck no, we fight niggas that's nice. Cause if you're not supposed to be doing this shit, then you need to find out that you not nice, so you could go work at Walmart or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, um, and nothing against people who working at Walmart. You getting paid at the end of the day. You feed your family.
Well,
But
I don't mean to pivot a little bit, but change subject. We talking about Walmart. You brought it up. I remember the time when Adrian Broner was balling. When they used to give him change at Walmart, he'll throw the money in the air and say he don't keep needing no change. So you know, Walmart, big up to Walmart. Hopefully if
big
y'all,
ups to Walmart.
yeah.
I'm not AB. I got a bucket of change in this room. I was just cleaning up. I found about $5 in change, and that shit going in the motherfucking bucket. I don't give a damn.
Man, listen, bro. As soon as the fight, because I didn't see the fight, I missed it, so I had to go back and look at it. As soon as the fight started, I noticed immediately that you went at Elijah with the jab. Like y'all was fucking banging, bro. Like I don't know, and you was getting hit, but you took a nice left hook in that second round. You ain't, bro, man. I was on the roller coaster with you. Them 2 rounds. I was like, damn, right now, bro. You drive me crazy watching you fight, dog.
Hey man, shit. That's what the fans like to see though. Like they for the 3 rounds or 2 rounds and then the 30 seconds of the third round,
Yeah.
that shit was they enjoyed that shit. They had fun with it. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to give good fights, because if you're giving good fights, you're gonna make good money. And that's what I'm all about. I'm a dog at the end of the day.
Man, that's what I was saying, bro. I said, man, he got too much dog. Bro, the first ding ding, you went at him. You shot the jab out there. No, but I did notice the jab was coming out fast and strong. No diddy. I'm like, the fast coming out fast and strong. I said, okay, he established, he's setting the table. He letting them know, okay, shooting the jab out there. Then he caught you with a few jabs. I noticed in this fight, you look very, you stronger. I
Yeah.
think you look way different than you did at
I felt
welterweight.
I felt stronger. I
Yeah.
tell people about 2-3 weeks before the fight, and I'm getting at the situation where we had the misunderstanding on weight.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks before the fight, I was already around 55, 54.
Mm.
I was underweight from my understanding. Because the fight was sent to us at 157. It was a misunderstanding with the weight where they thought it was 54, we thought it was 57. But I was floating around between 60 and 54 for like 3 weeks before the fight, so I felt great. I felt great going into this fight. I knew how big this fight was, so I took this fight very serious. And Malachi, you the first interview that I've done like this since the fight. So you gonna get an exclusive. We're gonna keep it a bean. I can honestly say that this fight right here, as far as camp wise, this is the first camp I felt like I took completely serious. Not even just mentally, but physically. Like, I know I had a problem with having too much fun. Let's just leave it at that. Drinking, drugs, all that shit. I had a problem with that. And I was getting away with it. Most people say you don't really learn your lesson until you lose. And, I feel like I did learn my lesson a little bit. But you don't really learn your lesson until you hit rock bottom. After I was supposed to have that rematch and the rematch fell through due to injury, I seen how quick motherfuckers changed. Like, everybody damn near. I could count on my hands how many people I talked to on a day-to-day basis after the fight in March got canceled. So it's like, yeah, that shit really made me feel like, don't nobody fuck with you for real. So you gotta fuck with yourself. You gotta respect yourself and respect your craft and lock in. So, I completely dubbed everything. Is was like, you gotta focus on your career.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you something, man. That's some real stuff because you see what's going on with Agent Broner right now, and Agent Broner got a serious alcohol problem. When we was in Vegas, I'm pretty sure you saw him. I don't know if you saw him or not, but when I was in the Fountain Blue, and he was right at the bar, and he was just he was pissy drunk, and I think his tooth fell out of his mouth or something fell out. I think it was his tooth fell out of his mouth, and he put it back in or something like that. And so with the substance abuse stuff, he had the world in his hands. He was getting the big fights, and now look at him. So I say all that to say this, just stay serious, stay focused on your craft, man. I'm glad that it takes a real man to fess up to know what your vices are, but at the same time, now you got to have the discipline and the fortitude because you can have a great future, a great career in this sport. There's a lot of fighters that got derailed throughout the histories of time, and you don't want to be the other one. So just learn from others' mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and keep it pushing. That's all you can do. Just keep it pushing, bro.
No, absolutely. I always tell motherfuckers I'm not one to cry wolf or anything like that. I could have easily said, well, after the fight in December, well, I lost because I was supposed to move up from 54 2 fights ago. I was supposed to fight Pete and then move up after I fought Pete. I could have easily said that because that was the plan at first. I could have said, man, shit, the week before I fought Roman, I had to lose 30 pounds. I could have said some shit like that. I could have said, man, shit, I got high every day in camp when I fought him, all the way till 2 weeks out when I fake locked in. I could have said any of those things, but I never once looked for an excuse. I said he was better, and that's why I lost. And I said, it's things that you gotta change. Don't try and put the blame on nobody else but yourself. And I just, I changed those things, and that's how we got the result we got in September. Well, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So now you got that. You with Eddie Hearn, right?
Yeah.
So how, like, okay, you got tell me the process. So what happened? How did you get on the Riyadh season card? Do you know what the process was?
So coming off the injury in March, I really wasn't doing nothing. People don't even know. I went to like one camp. I went to a camp, and I wasn't even in the camp for real, cause I was still hurt. I was still going to physical therapy, and I actually went to camp with Charles Conwell like a month and some change after the injury. I went to camp with him for like 3 days to give him some sparring. I still was rocking an ankle brace, just wrapping my ankle and stuff, and I was still taking like pain medication for it. Well, I went to camp with him for a few days, working with him. And then I just was chilling again. Like, even when I got that call to go to camp with him, I was fresh off the couch. Like, I wasn't really in the gym. I was just going to physical therapy every day. And then flash forward to July when Shakur had his fight when him and Berlang were the two headliners in New York. The day before they had the sparring thing. the Doghouse Sparring that Ring Magazine and Box Raw has hosted. Um, and somebody was just like, "You don't have no date, nigga. Just go." And I was like, "All right, fuck it. I'll whoop some ass. I'm heavy right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went up there. I seen there was a lot of good fighters up there, a lot of great fighters, nice guys. It wasn't, just a bunch of prospects. It was really like fighters in there. So I went in there. I ended up working with Rashidi Ellis. Shout out to
Yeah,
Speedy
Speedy
Rashidi.
Rashidi.
Yeah, shout out to Speedy Rashidi.
Yeah.
We ended up working and got some good work. And I gotta, I thank him because the work wouldn't have looked as good if it wasn't a high level fighter. You know, I just think about, for example, it was some guys that was in there that didn't spar with like nice guys, but they whooped their ass, and it looked good if you don't know boxing, but if you know boxing, it's like you ain't whoop on nobody that was nice. You were supposed to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was that. I looked good there, and I was told my team was told, you might want to start getting ready for September, and probably like a month or
Yeah.
so after that, we got the call. They was like, yeah, you're gonna be fighting on that Bud Canelo fight week, and so that the rest is history.
Ah, damn, dog. Hey, look here. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I went back and watched the fight, and I say, you was catching him with that left hook. That left hook couldn't miss.
Yeah,
It,
I feel like I ain't not trying to like brag about it or anything, or like just sound overconfident. Well, if anything, it is confidence. It's just from confidence from constant practice. I feel like once I hit you with it a few times, I'm not gonna miss. I'm not gonna miss.
and your
Especially
timing,
since
your timing on point. Yeah.
yeah, it's like like I just think about guys like Shakur Stevenson. He got a hell of a fucking jab. You know, once he hits you a few times, it's like he got that bitch locked in. He not gonna miss. That's how I feel about my hook. Once I catch you about 2-3 times, I could really get it whenever I want.
Yeah, man. I was like, y'all was banging. Y'all was banging on the inside. You were doing some nice body work. He was doing some good body work. And I was like, bro, he was catching you some shots. He was catching you clean. And I'm like, how the fuck Jalil taking this punch? You know what I mean? But you took the punch well, and you were still in the pocket. It's like he was just trying to show that he was stronger than you or try to bang with you. But
Yeah,
then when you caught him with that left hook, I saw like the life kind of went to go out of him, like the will, not the life, but the will. It was like, damn, me trying to
yeah.
bang with him on the inside ain't gonna work.
I feel like in the second, well, no, really the first round. The first round he threw he shot his low. He shot like some of his best shots,
Yeah.
and I took some of his best shots in the first round, and it ain't do nothing to me. The same. I tell people the same reason why I'll probably never bet against Bud again is the same reason why I wouldn't bet against myself. I say the nigga got shot in the head and drove himself to the hospital.
Yeah, I heard you say that. I heard you say that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
say shit. I ain't get hit in my head, but I done been through just as wild shit, and I'm still here. So you can't bet against a nigga like that, man.
Hey, look, listen. I'm glad you said something about Bud because, you know, I know a lot of the politics that he went through, coming through boxing and stuff like that. We know he 3 division world champion, stuff like that. We know he beat Canelo. But I went back and watched that fight for the third time. And when you look at it, and I'm not just saying it because it was Bud and Canelo. I'm just saying I've been watching boxing a long time. I say, man, sometimes people got to sit back and understand what they're watching. I was seeing hand traps Bud was doing. Like if they fighting on the inside, if Canelo missed that right hook, that straight cross, the straight right, he'll slip, get up under it. I saw he pinned with his backhand, with his lead hand, because he fight southpaw. He pinned Canelo's right arm to his body, and he came over with a left hook and caught him clean. And I missed that the first couple of times. I was like, man, you know what? This is some high level stuff. What did you think about how Bud was able to win that fight? What do you think about that?
Watching the fight live, I honestly said Bud is the best fighter to ever put gloves on. I say he's the best fighter to ever put gloves on. But after I watched it again, I watched it 2 more times after that. I did think he put on a hell of a performance, but I still can't quite put him over Floyd yet.
No, I don't. I can't. I don't like putting fighters over. You got to keep fighters in their era. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I don't.
he is
I'm
the
not
greatest fighter of this era.
of this era. Yeah,
No
yeah,
question. No question.
yeah. Hands down, hands down. Now, a lot of people said he ain't fought nobody. So, yeah, I come up with a saying. I said, well, if he ain't fought nobody, add Canelo to the list of nobodies he fought.
Yeah, I don't like that, because everybody's always somebody until he beat them, and then they say they
Yeah.
ain't fought nobody.
Hold on, I think his phone. I think his phone went dead, y'all. I think his phone went dead. Let me go back here. Yeah, I think Jalil phone went dead. Jalil, your phone went dead, fam. I can't hear you. Yeah. Hey, what you say? Shout out to David. David, what's going on, fam? Hey, David. David, I got something for you. David, I got something for you.
I felt like a Spanish, like a Puerto Rican in this hair. I felt Puerto Rican. Y'all know I loves me some Puerto Rican. I felt Puerto Rican in this. Rican.
Yeah, man. If you're feeling Puerto Rican, you get what I'm saying. Y'all let me know. Now, hold on, he back. Is Jalil back? Okay. Bam, there you go. All right, I got
Yeah. Technical difficulties. But yeah, like I was saying, everybody's always somebody until, they get beat and then they're nobody. Like,
you.
Bud Bud and Earl was supposed to be the biggest fight ever, it's supposed to be a clash of the Titans, and then he dominated Earl, and then all of a sudden Earl's trash, Earl's a bum, you
Yeah.
know, this, that, and the third. Should I even go back to when he was at 140 and he beat that African guy for the
Ain't gone, ain't,
undisputed?
ain't gone no. Yeah.
He was supposed to be the coldest nigga ever. And
Yeah.
then
It was.
when Bud beat him, he's trash. He's nobody. He sucks. You know, I think that's always gonna be the thing, man. Shit. I just think about even at the smaller level, at the lower level, leading up to this fight, I was supposed to get knocked out, and I was supposed to be working at Walmart. You know,
Bruh, I was
but
surprised you took. I wasn't surprised you took the fight because I know you're a dog. But I was like, damn, they messing him up with Doc because them fighters out of Philly they're known to be tough. Tough
yeah,
fighters
they
come out of
tough.
Philly.
They tough, but I just be like, shit, I'm tougher.
Yeah,
Yeah, I be check my background.
yeah,
Yeah, no, but yeah, no, I was supposed to get knocked out by him, but then after the fact, after I beat him, everybody's now saying, well, not everybody, but I'm seeing now that it's like, all right, he beat a guy with a puffed up record, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
God forbid I would have lost.
yeah.
I told y'all he was ass.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah, no,
yeah, for real. Hey, nah, for real though. Hey, the narrative switches depending on the outcome, and I noticed
all
that.
the time, bro, all the time.
Jalil, this what it is, right? This what it is. See, you can't beat your haters. You can't beat them because they play. I have a quarter right here in my hand. They play both sides of the coin. They tell you, all right, well, he ain't fought nobody. Jalil ain't fought nobody. This and that, this and that. This is gonna be the one that beat him, right? That's tails. Then when you knock him out, they go to heads. Well, yeah, he beat him, but that dude really went all that, and But I'm like, dude, you said something totally different. You can't beat them. They never admit when they wrong. You get what I'm saying? They argue both. They argue both sides of the coin. So you make a point on that.
Nah, absolutely, man. So at the end of the day, when you win, they hate you. When you lose, they still hate you. So I'd rather be a winner that's hated than a loser that's hated. So.
Look, okay, look. So listen, are you able to like change levels with your game? Like, okay, like this fight right here, you went at him, you established a jab, you got a great jab, you took some shots, and I think, like you said, once the guy realized that you took his best shot and he didn't hurt you, he kind of knew it was over. But will you be able to? We just saw a fight with Canelo and Bud, a high level, kind of like a high level chess match, where what was it about that fight? Just what you liked about it and what you didn't like about it. Let me know what you um, liked about it and what you didn't like about the fight.
Honestly speaking, I really like the way that Bud controlled the pace of the fight. If they fought fast, it's because he wanted to fight fast. If they slowed down the pace, because he wanted to slow down the pace. What I didn't like is for a fighter of such high IQ like Canelo, I don't like how he didn't make adjustments. He did get instruction in the corner, to make slight adjustments. But as a fighter, sometimes you gotta be like quarterback. You on the field, you gotta Omaha that motherfucker sometimes and make your own adjustments on the fly. And I don't think he did that well enough. And I feel like that's what ultimately lost him the fight because he couldn't adjust to the adjustment. I feel like Bud was playing speed chess and Canelo was out there playing checkers. So you're not gonna beat a chess player playing checkers.
What I noticed about this fight, I call it like I seen three different things. I saw Bud box him from the outside. I saw Bud fight him damn good mid range, and then in the second, and then the championship rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, I saw Bud kind of like was beating him on the inside. So like this dude is beating you in the outside, mid range, and on the inside. And I saw a lot of the hand traps he was doing. I said, man, this motherfucker, it happened so I could show you a video clip. It happened so fast, and I said, man, that shit was instinctual. Like you pinned the motherfucker arm to his body and caught him and it happened so fast. It was like, bap, you know what I mean? The only reason I noticed that it was so.
Hey, the nigga cold, man. He cold. He cold. You gotta give it to him, And I wasn't the biggest Bud fan, because he fought Earl, and Earl damn near was my boxing idol. And the way he dismantled Earl, that shit felt like watching Superman die. So yeah, that shit fucked me up. And it's crazy. Flash forward like 10, 11 months after the fight, I see Bud in New York, and me and Bud don't have the closest relationship, but the first thing he say to me is, "You see how I did your man?" It's like, damn, brother. I definitely, I always liked the way he fought, but he definitely gained a fan from me with his past couple performances.
All right. So when it was announced he was gonna fight Canelo, who you was going for?
I was rooting for Bud,
Okay.
And this is my reasoning. I ain't see too many Mexicans rooting for Canelo. I mean, I ain't see too many Mexicans rooting for Bud.
Right.
And I just feel like when it comes to other ethnicities and stuff like that, they don't go against theirs. But more often than not, I see the black community go against black fighters, especially when they're going against something that ain't black. And I just couldn't be a part of that. So I was like, nah, I'm backing that nigga play. I'm Team Bud tonight.
No, the reason why I asked because there's a couple brothers out there. I know some. They Aerosmith fans, and they were like, man, they were rooting for Canelo. I don't like this nigga Bud. I don't like what he did to Arrow. We still mad about that. Canelo gonna get it back in blood for us. So that's why I asked.
No, because I just feel like at the end of the day, that's why I love the sport of boxing so much. At the end of the day, it's you and the nigga you in the ring with.
Yeah.
If you can't beat that man you in the ring with, he's better than you that day. So, only way you can change the narrative is fighting him again. Fight him again and beat him. If you beat him, then it's like, all right, y'all even, and y'all could break the tie with a third fight.
Have a rubber
but if you fight somebody once and they dominate you and y'all never fight again, then that guy's better. The saying, the last man standing gonna always tell a story.
Tell a story,
yeah. So it's like shit. It is what it is.
What do you think? What do you think Canelo should do next? Do you think that a rematch with him and Crawford to be like what is it that he can? What is it that Canelo can do different, in your opinion, to get a different outcome?
I think honestly, the fight, the first fight they had was so one-sided.
No, I'm talking about Canelo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a rematch in my opinion because it was so one-sided. I gave Canelo 3 rounds. But we
Everybody I talk,
laughing.
I gave him 3 rounds.
You laughing is making me laugh. But yeah, nah. I just feel like it was too one sided for a rematch. I feel like a rematch is one of those things where like we have a close fight where half of the fans are saying one person won and the other half of the fans are saying the other person won. Those are fights that need a rematch. Or
Right.
fights that end in a draw. They need a rematch. But when it's a fight where the shit's completely one sided, I don't think it's cause for a rematch. Like it takes a lot to get a rematch, and I don't think, I don't think they,
Yeah, but that might be the biggest money fight for both of them.
yeah. Realistically, if they think about if they're thinking about legacy, then it's not a good rematch. But if they're thinking about their pockets, which a lot of fighters have been doing lately, then of course they rematch.
Man, it really amazes me because I was like, damn, man, like I said, you hear Crawford ain't fought nobody. He's chinny. I saw Canelo catch Bud with a looping bolo punch to the top of his head.
And that
It
shit
didn't
ain't do
hurt him.
nothing but make him mad.
I saw Canelo catch Bud with a straight right, caught him flesh on the chin, right in the face, caught him right down the chin and everything. And he took it well, backed up, said, okay. He shook his head up and down and went right back at him. So I'm like, well, so he proved he wasn't cheating. He took the punch. He dispelled every myth that people were saying, And I was telling the audience before you came on, people saying that he had to gain weight to move up to fight 2 weight divisions. And when I spoke to Bud, he was like, no. And he said, I walk around at 180 something. So instead of me making a weight cut to 147 or 154, I just make a weight cut to 160, 168. So camp is a lot easier and stronger for me. I don't have to starve yourself to try to fight at a lower weight. And I didn't even look at it that way. He was like, no, I'm not. It ain't like he Manny Pacquiao who's real small and he want to fight Canelo, but he walk around at 150, 50 something, 52 or something. So he got to gain weight to try to get up there. He was like, nah, that's the way he explained it to me.
And I understand that completely because I did an interview with Mill City leading up to the fight. We did an interview. It was me, Mill, and my opponent. And my opponent, his whole thought process on the fight was, this is his first fight at 154. I fought my whole career at 154. He's too small. I'm gonna walk through him. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh because it's like, shit. Does he know that I come down?
Hey, Jalil, hold on. This bullet right here. Sorry about that, Jalil. I'll call him back. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just, I just had to think to myself, like, does he know that I come down from a big weight to get to, well, I was at the time, I was getting to 147, but to get to 154, does he know that early on in my career, I fought a few fights at 54? I even fought a fight at a catch weight of 57 and a half, So it's like, I had got my feet wet at 54. I just wasn't there because, I had plans on, I had big dreams at 47, winning the belt there, stuff like that. So I just looked at it and kind of laughed because it's like, I ain't no little guy. I was a big 147, and really I'm a big 154. I feel like realistically size don't really level out as far as like me potentially running into bigger guys until realistically 68. So yeah, I'm glad he brought that up. As far as the weight cut.
Yeah. So what I'm saying it's me looking at it at a different perspective. I was like, damn, I didn't even look at it that way. And he walked around with it for like a year. Training, moving around with it. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So it was, but that's another story for another day. So what's plans for you in your next fight? Like when do you foresee you getting back in the ring?
Realistically, I want to close out the year with something. I don't want to fight just one time in 2025. I want to get one more in before the year ends. But I do have to take it up with my team. Let them know that I'm interested. Well, we already had that discussion in Vegas. That I was interested in fighting one more time before the year ended, and
Right.
they let me know. We'll let you know soon, but just make sure you prepare when we give you that call. So. Yeah, I was,
So I know I'm hearing that you want to fight Xander Zayas.
Yeah, that's a fight I'm very interested in. First fight at 54 went great. I felt great. So it's like shit. I was hearing that he needed a title defense. He wanted to do a homecoming fight and all that. And I'm like, shit, I don't mind going back to Puerto Rico. First time went bad. Fuck it. Let's go back. This time is different. I ain't trying to kill myself to make that little ass weight. So it's like, we could make something shake, but I'm hearing that he got him an opponent when he got him a inactive 147. That, the last time we seen him, he was on his face. But, hey, it is what it is. In due time, the fight will happen. He's a hell of a fighter. I'm sure he's going to dispose of Centillion. That's the guy that they're talking about he's going to fight.
That's the one who Brian Newman fought.
Yeah. Like I said, the last time we seen him, he was on his face.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sure that Xander's going to dispose of Centillion easy. Like I said, Xander's not a bad fighter. Xander's a great fighter. Right. But, I just feel like I'm better. So, I'll get my opportunity to prove that I'm better more than likely in 2026, hopefully. If not, then, maybe I'll intrigue him more when I go get me a belt. I go get me a belt at 47. I mean, not 47, at 54, and then we'll just talk about unifying.
Okay, so I like the fact 54. There's some live dogs there. I'm just saying for me, like you have 11 fights now.
Yes.
11 fights now. So, I know you're very, very ambitious. You don't have to be in such a hurry to try to fight like all of the top guys right now. Like you just got this weight division.
Yeah. I feel you. I hear it and I respect it. I understand it because my dad says the same thing all the time. But I also tell him, I say, thinking that you got time is how niggas end up 30-year-old prospects. Mm-hmm. So I don't, I'm not trying to be a 30-year-old prospect. That's all.
All right, okay. All right. Well, we gonna see what's up, man. But listen, I gotta. Have you talked? When the last time you spoke to Eddie Hearn?
I spoke to Eddie. Shit. Damn. I spoke to Eddie in July when they had the.
Wait. What you mean in July? You just had a fight last week.
Oh,
week before.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I spoke with. I'm not sure if you're familiar. I spoke with Kevin Rooney at the fights. I spoke with Kevin Rooney a lot leading up to the fights. And if you don't know, for those who don't know, Kevin Rooney is Eddie's right-hand man. So talking to him is damn near like talking to Eddie.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm just realistic with myself. I'm like, after the fight in December and then the mishap in March, I told myself, nigga, you're on the chopping block. You don't do this right in September, nigga. Your ass is grass.
Yeah.
So it's like one too much to talk about. You had some mishaps with the plug, and he keep giving you second and third chances. Once you get to that fourth chance, he take you out in the middle of nowhere with a big ass hole dug for you. And I already know Eddie had the shovel, and I already know he was about 2 feet down. I would have lost. By the time I got out there, that hole would have been 6 feet deep. And he would have been dropping my ass in that bitch. So I'm like, shit, nah. We'll talk soon. I'll probably hear from him after this interview now that I said that.
Yeah, let him. Hey, look here, man. Listen. Tell Eddie Hearn. I call him Eddie the Hitman Hearn. Listen, man, you talk to him, let Eddie Hearn say, look, man, I need to get him over here on this show right here, man. My people in the chat, we got some questions for him. We want to get him on the show. He ain't got to be scared. We're gonna be respectful.
No, absolutely. I'll definitely put that word in for you, man. Hey,
Jalil, so listen, let everybody know, man. Let everybody know how to find you. I know they know how to find you. You know. So, but just let them know in the wrap up. What do you know? How people can reach you if they want to get in contact with you for sponsorships or anything.
Y'all can reach out to me on all social medias: Facebook, Twitter, X, Instagram. Yeah. I'm on Instagram at Jalil_Hackett. I'm on Facebook at Jalil Major Hackett, and I'm on Twitter at Jalil_Hackett. Y'all can get at me. I appreciate you, Malachi, for having me on your platform.
Yes, sir.
All the fans that stayed down through all the madness, I appreciate y'all. Like I said before, anybody that switched up, stay your ass over there. You know, and
Yeah, you got it. Fuck the other side. Fuck the other side. They switched up. It is
yeah,
what it is.
hey, and we be back soon, man. You know, like I said, that whole situation really from December to all the way up until I fought. I say, bro, that's not the worst shit you've been through. You done been through worse. So it's like, hey, just keep going.
All right. Well, listen, man. Listen, shout out to Jalil Hackett, man. Much love, brother. Man, we're gonna get you back on the show. As soon as we find out your next fact, I gotta get you back on here.
For sure. You know, before I get off here, like I said, after the fight and the post-fight interview, 154, I'm here. Everybody at 54, especially the niggas with the belts. I'm on y'all ass. Y'all need opponents. Y'all know who to call. Appreciate you again, Malachi.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go. Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go.